What's going on, everybody? My name is Tech, and for the last 15 years, I was the #1 seller of pre-owned men's clothing on eBay in every single category: shirts, sweaters, jackets, pants, shorts, vest, NHL, NFL, NBA, NCAA, hats, you name it. I was the #1 seller on eBay in the entire world for 15 years. And I am going to give you the definitive guide on how to sell successfully on eBay in 2024. And hopefully, if you listen to these things, these principles, that they can help kind of lead the way and have you have a successful year. So like I said, I've been doing this for 15 years. Every single day of my life for the last 15 years, I started with one item, pile in the corner inventory system, just like everybody else did. And I grew that into, it took over my bedroom, took over my house, a lot of the same positions that a lot of you guys are in. I got a little storage unit. I got another little storage unit. I got a third little storage unit, moved into a bigger place, got a small warehouse, 1,200 square feet, got a 3,000 square foot warehouse, then 6,000 square feet, and then 10,000 square feet. And I went from listing one item to listing 250 items every single day, with a small team of 3 people that did the photos and the listing. I also launched the draft. And at the end of 15 years, I was able to build a one item a day eBay business all the way up to a $5 million a year reselling business, a couple $1 million on eBay, have a brick and mortar store. I have a wholesale operation, sell a little bit in different avenues, but altogether $5 million a year, complete underneath the entire clothing resale operation. So I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've started from the bottom, nothing ever given to me, nothing ever handed out. Nobody came to save me. Nobody came to help. And that is one of the largest reasons why I make this podcast, is because back when I started, there was no iPhones. There was no ability to look up items at the thrift store. You had to get the education. You had to go out and make smart, informed decisions. And I think a lot of that really, really helped me build my business even to this day. But, now we have all these tools, which are, of course, there to help us. But we have to know how to utilize and take advantage of those tools. So if you're going to listen to other people explain exactly how to do this, make sure that they actually have the ability to do so. Make sure that, they're on the website, that they are selling on the website, that it's not a side project or a side gig. I put every single ounce of my effort and my being into selling on eBay every single day for the last 15 years. That is a fact. Never missed my listing goal once. Undefeated. Um, Nobody listed and sold more in that time frame than I did. So what we need to do, we need to start with what to sell, where to find it. So there's a lot of places to find inventory. Most people go to the thrift stores. Some people go to the bins. You have the flea market, garage sale. You have online arbitrage. And the word arbitrage simply means finding something for below market, purchasing it, and then selling it for the market price. And that spread in between is what's known as the arbitrage. Sniping, which is finding items on eBay or different marketplaces under market for cheap, buying them, and then reselling them for the correct price. You can network with other resellers, network with people at the flea market, vendors, garage sale, ask them, do they have anything else? You could purchase wholesale, however, wholesale is tough. So all of these things, they have pros and they have cons. The thrift store is where I get a lot of my inventory. I started out going one thrift store, and then my thrift route ended up being 50 stores per week. And then I went to the flea market 3 days a week, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on Saturday and Sunday, I ended up going to two flea markets on those days, twice a day. So it does take a lot to get a lot of product, but for most people listening to this, maybe just beginning or never having aspirations to list hundreds of items every single day, a good thrift store route is probably the #1 thing that most people are going to do to source and find their items. What you want to look for is try to get as high velocity, highly productive thrift stores as possible. When you're there, you want to see if they're bringing out new racks, or if you go there week after week and they have the same stuff week after week. Maybe that's not the best place to go. Um, And what I like to do is I like to be there early, the first one in the door, and I like to be there often. I like to go early and often. And early and often is the key to sourcing, especially at the flea market and especially at garage sales. So you're not going to go to the flea market your first weekend and find the Declaration of Independence and sell it for $1 million. That's not what you're going to do. You're not going to go garage sailing for the first weekend and, put a down payment on a Bugatti. It's not going to happen. Thrift store, flea market, garage sale, go into the bins. All of these sources methods come down to having the most opportunities and having the most amount of knowledge. If you can have the most opportunities and the most knowledge, you will win. And if you've been watching my YouTube channel, I've been putting out some videos of going to the flea market. And I've went to flea markets on a Saturday where I didn't find hardly anything. I went to the same flea market on a Sunday and found hundreds of items. So it's just about more reps, more opportunities, more reps, more opportunities. So at the thrift store, you're going to have a little bit of a higher average buy cost, generally between $5 and $10 on average. The bins, you're going to have a little bit lower of an average buy cost, generally, $1, $1.50 per item, some places less than $1. But the pros and cons are the thrift store, everything is nicely for you on a hanger. It's in sections, so you can shop different sections. And when I go to a thrift store, this is the route that I choose when I go in the store. I go to the jerseys, which are kind of like the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to thrifting, because most jerseys are worth, $20 at minimum. There are a lot of fake jerseys, and inside of the group, we do have a call that goes over all the fakes for a lot of brands. So you do want to make sure that you're not buying fake jerseys. So if you look on eBay, even people, supposed experts teaching other people how to do it, you go on their eBay store, they have fake jerseys listed. So you have to be very, very, very careful about the jerseys. Learn what's real, learn what's fake. It's not difficult to do. It comes down to the stitching a lot of time, comes down to the color a lot of time, comes down to the sizing a lot of time. And all you have to do is learn 3 or 4 things, and you could be a bona fide expert on jerseys in an afternoon. And like I said, we do have that call in the group. I have a dedicated jersey deep dive that shows you the best brands to pick up and also how to identify fakes. And we also have a call on fakes where we've done 2 or 3 iterations of it, just, hammering in different things to look for different brands. When you go to the thrift store, you want to I hit the jerseys first, and then I hit the jackets, sweaters, button-ups, polos, t-shirts, jeans, shorts. I peruse the kids section, look for Patagonia, North Face, and then I peruse the women's jackets and sweaters, again, looking for Patagonia, North Face, because the kids' Patagonia, North Face, the women's Patagonia, North Face is still men's clothing adjacent. It's not a dress. It's not, something that I have to do a bunch of jumping jacks or cartwheels to get listed inside of my setup. It's men's clothing adjacent. And the reason why I picked this route at the thrift store is because it gives you the opportunity for the most home runs or the most bang for the buck. So you go to the jerseys, not uncommon to find a jersey for $30, $50. You go to the jackets, again, not uncommon to find items 20, 25, 30, 40, $50. Sweaters, same thing, 20, 30, $40. Button-up shirts, you get a nice Hawaiian shirt, you get a nice Tommy Bahama with an embroidery, that could be $50. Polo shirts, $20, $30 is not out of the ordinary for a polo shirt. T-shirts are often picked through it a lot. The prices are usually up on the t-shirts. So you're really looking for like the vintage ones or, home runs when it does come to the t-shirts. And then for me, I concentrate more on tops, but if you concentrate on bottoms, this will be a little bit flip-flopped. You look at the shorts, a couple BOLOs for shorts, the Abercrombie and Fitch cargo shorts, the loudmouth golf shorts, things like that. You start to develop your Rolodex. Same thing with pants. Swim trunks aren't bad either. You get the nice polo ones or the Vineyard Vine ones or the Villa Briquem ones. I don't know how to pronounce it, but you guys all know what I'm talking about. Those sell great. And that's kind of how I structure my thrift route. As soon as I walk in the door, I make a break: jerseys, jackets, sweaters, button-ups, polos, t-shirts, pants, shorts, kids, women's jackets. Take everything to a well-lit area of the thrift or the corner underneath a light. check it over for flaws. As you start to do this more, you will start to see where certain items gain more flaws at. So for a t-shirt, maybe under the arms, you want to check that, make sure there's no discoloration. For anything button up, you want to make sure it has all the buttons. You want to check the collar on button up shirts so it doesn't have ring around the collar, things like that. So you do want to make sure that you're looking over everything for flaws, no matter where you are. Thrift store, flea market, bins, garage sale, it doesn't matter. What I also like to do is take all the hangers off when I'm at the store, stack them neat in my cart, so that way when I do go to the counter, it's very quick, it's very swift. I'm not waiting a bunch of time because I want to get as many opportunities as possible, and I don't want to be stuck in line taking off hangers or waiting for someone who's real slow taking off the hangers. I'll do it myself. And also when I'm in line, all of my stuff is neatly stacked up. I put everything on the counter. They check the price, I flip it over. Check the price, flip it over. Check the price, flip it over. And then when they're done, I fold it up, put it in a bag, take it home. If there is a line, that's when I'll start doing some of my prep. I'll start buttoning my button-up shirts in the line. I'll start buttoning my polos in the line just to make sure that when I do get home, everything is ready to get thrown in the washing machine so that way it can be washed, goes to the photo taking process, and that is the best it is ever going to be. That is a very important tip. Get home, wash everything, and it doesn't matter if it came from a thrift store. It doesn't matter if it was donated out of someone's closet, not their dirty clothes. The eBay rules and policy is all items must be cleaned before they are listed on eBay. Go home, put them in your washing machine, take them out, and any sort of flaw you identify at the photo station, that flaw needs to be photographed, that flaw needs to be noted, and that item needs to be listed with that flaw because it's already been washed. That is the best that item is ever going to be. And if you wash it first, that prevents any item from going sideways inside of your assembly line. So if you don't wash first, you identify a flaw, everything stops for that item. That item goes to the side, or that item now needs to get spot treated, or that item needs to get fixed or washed. And you have this pile of miscellaneous in the corner that odds are you never deal with because you always go back out and source. So if every single item is perfect condition by the time it gets to your photo station, you identify the flaw, you note it, you list it with the flaw, and it keeps moving forward through your assembly line. So like I said, the thrift store, those are a couple tips to go through the thrift. The bins are going to have a lower buy cost, but the items usually are going to be more stained, more flawed. There's a lot more not fighting, but it's a lot more competitive at the bins because there's a bunch of people there all trying to do the same thing as you. So it has its complications. Even though it has a low buy cost, it's very competitive. It's going to have more flaws on average, and the average sale price of that stuff is not going to be as quality as if you're going to the bins or if you're going to the thrift store, rack stores usually. The thrift store, rack stores is going to have a higher buy cost, but you're probably going to find better quality items, where the bins is going to have a lower buy cost, but not as many, high quality items, because the way that the bins work in most districts is everything that does not sell at the thrift stores, it goes through their cycles and then it gets marked down. And after it has not sold even in markdown, then it goes to the bins. Sometimes in some districts, they get too much donations and stuff skips the thrift store and then it goes right to the bins. That's fine too. But, odds are that stuff has already been through some sort of regular thrift store, was not sold for whatever reason, has a flaw, something's wrong with it, maybe not a great quality item, and then it does end up at the bins. You could still find fantastic item at the bins and still have a very beautiful eBay reselling business from the bins. You can have a beautiful eBay reselling business out of each and every one of these. The flea market, I've had my best success going to the flea market very early. Where I live, I used to get there at 4 o'clock in the morning. Now that's different from wherever you go because I'm going to different flea markets in different parts of the state. And some of them don't even open up at till 9 o'clock, which is fantastic for those people. But where I live, we used to have to get out there early, 4 o'clock in the morning. And we had 3 good days. We had Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those were kind of the prime days. So figure out what the prime days are for your flea market and then get out there, start talking to people, start networking with people. I've had the best luck at flea markets from the people that buy the storage units. And I buy clothing personally. And people who buy the storage units, they look at clothing as kind of like a pest or something that they don't want to deal with. So they would throw it on the ground, price it very cheaply. And as long as you have the knowledge to pick out the best stuff, you can find success in that manner. Or, you start talking to different kind of people and they start holding stuff for you. So if you do good business and you buy all of one brand for someone, tell them, say, hey, if you ever come across this brand, I will buy all of it. Bring me 20 pieces, I'll buy 20 pieces. Let me look at it first. Start developing that friendship, pay a good price, don't beat them up, treat them with respect because they go out there and they source every single day just like we do. And if you watch my videos from the flea market, I never negotiate. I don't beat anybody up. This is my first time going to flea markets several hours away from my house. And I do this for a reason. I go to flea markets 5 hours away from my house because I already have all the advantages when I'm home. So I want no advantages. I want to go to places that I've never been for the first time. And using these strategies that we're talking about, I'm making thousands of dollars every single time that I go to every single flea market. And every single video, just about, a vendor is offering me their phone number for repeat business because I approach them as a professional. I approach them with respect and I am very polite. I help them, put stuff back that I don't want, make it look better than how I received it when I first got it. And just by doing those little things, you start to network. And networking with other people, networking with other resellers is very important. A lot of people, they do go to the bins. Saddle up next to somebody that doesn't sell the same type of items that you do. If you sell women's clothing and there's a guy at the bins that only sells men's clothing, but they do a great job and they're highly knowledgeable, how many pieces of Lily Pulitzer or Theory or Chico's or anything do they pick up that they don't want, but they throw back in the bins? Network, say, hey, I don't sell men's, you don't sell women's, but if I find a Vineyard Vines whale shirt or a Slim Fit Tucker shirt or, a Tommy Bahama shirt that's rayon or with an embroidery, I don't want it. I sell women's clothing. Let's trade. Every time you find Chico's, a brand that I love, let's trade item for item. Or all these vintage guys that are out there at the bins, saddle up next to them. All they want is vintage. Trade them vintage for great items. Trade them a Carhartt jacket for 50 pieces of Tommy Bahama. Trade them, a distressed shirt for 3 Tommy Bahama shirts. Whatever you have to do, start networking, start making friends. Get the word out that you are able to facilitate a lot of items, that you are looking to acquire items to hit your listing goal to build your eBay business. Talk to people. Don't be scared. Tell people that you're a reseller. You'll be shocked on how many people at the flea market, at garage sales, how many people that are friends of friends that have inventory that they're looking to sell. And if you're a reseller, you can help them with their business and they can help you with your business. Another tactic that we discussed was online arbitrage. You can go on eBay, and in order to do this, you have to acquire an expertise. There are items on eBay every single day that people list for too cheap. There's whole stores of Ralph Lauren that has been sniped that people list for too cheap. They relist it for the right price in their store. There's whole stores of Patagonia that do this. If you don't know what a, Mars Dash jacket is, but somebody else does, and you list it too cheap, they're going to come in and purchase it, and they're going to list it to the right price. Use the correct keywords, they have the correct audience, and they will get the correct price. You could do this, but it's a little bit more of an advanced way of doing it. Wholesale is tough. Usually you get people offloading stuff that's not good. So you need to be very, very cautious, very, very careful if you're going to purchase wholesale. If you're going to purchase wholesale, again, this is a little bit of an advanced method, but you should probably have some sort of outlet to get rid of the items that are not eBayable. So whether you are going to run a whatnot stream to sell items and hopefully turn a small profit or break even at worst, and keep only the items that are good for eBay on eBay, do a pop-up, sell wholesale to another bozo reseller who knows no better, do a flea market, do a garage sale. You need to have some sort of secondary outlet if you are going to choose how to do wholesale. So if I was starting out, I would go to the thrift stores, I would try the bins, I would hit the flea market, and I would hit garage sales. So now that we've talked about like where to find items, now you need to figure out what do you actually sell. And first and foremost, I think that everybody should figure out what kind of metrics they are looking to establish for their business. And the metrics that we are looking for and how we are gauging it is we are looking at profit per item and sell through. So sell through is the most important. Sell through is king. Sell through is the most important thing for any kind of business. Sell through equates to cash flow. There's a lot of people that run eBay businesses that are inventory rich. They have a lot of money sunk in their inventory, but they are cash poor because their items are not selling through fast enough. And if you have more questions about this, go to the podcast immediately before this, and it's titled Watch This Before You Sell in 2024. And I go through all of the math. I break down all of the math. I give you the different price buckets on how to run a reselling business profitable from your very first item. How to run a reselling business profitable in grow mode. We should never, never run a not profitable resale business. And that depends on our sell through, and that depends on our profit per item. So you can go over here to the eBay fee calculator. This is a very handy dandy tool. And you can come in here and you can establish what your desired profit per item is. So if you wanted to make a $20 profit, you would have to sell an item for $29.99 with $5.95 shipping. You would pay $5. The label would also cost $5.95. So this would be generally very close to a wash. You enter in your store level, premium, basic, starter, anchor, enterprise, if you're top rated, above standard, or below standard. It's a domestic sale. There is no promoted listings ad fee. You are not donating to charity. You are going to take 6% for your sales tax. You are in the clothing and accessories category, and you could do it for any other category you wish to sell in. And this will give you a $20 profit, $20.46 with an eBay fee of $4.53 and sales tax that was charged to the buyer of $261. So again, I'm going through this pretty quickly, but if you go to the podcast immediately before this, I go through this very slowly, and I even bust out the whiteboard behind me to give you real world examples. So if your goal was to do a $15 profit, no problem. You come in here and you run the numbers. $24.99, that gives us $16.04. So we would have to sell something for $23.99, charge $5.95 for shipping. Our item cost us $5. Our label was $5.95. We're premium, we're top rated. That gives us an average profit of $15.16 if we sell an item for $23.99 plus $5.95 shipping. Now we say, okay, great. I can't find stuff for $5. My average cost of goods is $8.25. Excellent. And I want to make a $15 profit. Sure. So right now, an item that sold for $23.99, $5.95 shipping, that resulted in a profit of $11.91. That doesn't quite cut it. $26.99 doesn't quite cut it. $27.50, that's our magic number right there. You sell an item for $27.50, you charge $5.95, the label costs $5.95, and your average cost of goods is $8.25. That gives you a $15.01 profit. Now, a lot of questions come from this. Again, watch the previous podcast that I did for this. I went through all of the numbers very slowly, explained all of it. But if we had to do that again, this podcast would be hours and hours long, and there's a lot of information we have to get through, but I promise you it's all in the previous one. How do I get my average cost of goods? You go to the thrift store, you buy 10 items, you spend $60. 60 divided by 10, you have a $6 average cost of goods. Great. You go to the thrift store again, you buy 10 more items. You spent $70. That trip, you had a $7 average cost of goods. Now you have two averages that you add together and you divide it by 2. So your global average cost of goods for your 2 trips to the thrift store is $6.50. And if you need any more help with this, we do have the Facebook group. We have tons and tons and tons of information, tons and tons and tons of resources, all led by real experts who have been selling on eBay for many, many years, not just last summer. I do the morning call every single day at 9 a.m. I'm fired up. We're all ready to rock and roll. A lot of accountability, a lot of goal setting in here. I try to teach something every single day in that. It's not just, meaningless ramble. I am in there every single day trying actively to teach people. We have a scheduling call with a focus on parents Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, toy call 3 p.m. Eastern, local selling Facebook Marketplace pallets. We have book club on Tuesday. I do a $100,000 call. On Tuesday, Michelle also does the fashion call and clothing call. Tuesday night, 7 p.m., I'll do an open Q&A. It goes for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One call even went for 11 hours. If you guys have questions, I have answers. I do not leave the call until all of the answers are complete. We have the beginner call, shoe call, jewelry call, car part sellers, media sellers, an Australian business improvement call just for Australian sellers, bookkeeping and accounting, where we go over a lot of the numbers with a real accountant. We have very basic introduction to bookkeeping. We have it all. We have a call just for UK sellers. We have a YouTube and social media call for people that have YouTube channels that want to improve those. We have a call just for Australian sellers, antiques and collectibles. We have a men's clothing call and a deep dive call, jean sellers, sports cards, Pokemon, TCG, Poshmark call, and then a video game call. So we have every single resource that you could be looking for. If you cannot attend live, everything is on replay. We have thousands of hours of previously recorded calls that if you join today, you get access to all of that. There's no secrets in the group. Everyone is there helpful. We have a 24-hour workroom so you can surround yourself with, positive, productive people all aiming in the right direction. I answer every single question myself in the Facebook group. And if it doesn't work out for you, send me an email and I'll be happy to get you taken care of. So, all right. So we have our eBay fee calculator where you can check for and you can look for your desired profit. And those are the two metrics that you want to measure. You want to measure sell-through and you want to measure desired profit. And sell-through is king because if we had some sort of magical item that sold 100 times a day, but we made $1 off of it, that would be $100 in our pocket. And we wouldn't care that we just made $1 off of it. If we had some super magical item that sold 1,000 times a day and we only made 50 cents on the item, that would be $500 profit every single day on a magical item. So profit and sell-through go hand in hand. If the item is going to take shorter to sell, we can accept a shorter profit. If the item is going to take longer to sell, then we need to accept a larger profit. It's like a parking lot, and I make this analogy very often. If you run a parking lot, and we all know these parking lots that are in the downtown district of every city in America, and you have to pay to park, and let's say it's $5. If you own a parking lot that charges $5 per spot, and you have 100 spots in your parking lot, on any given day, if you rent out all 100 spots, you make $500. But if you could park 200 cars in the same 100 slots, now you make $1,000. If you could park 300 cars in the same 100 spots, now you make even more money. So the amount of cars that you can sit in one parking spot, the longer it takes to sit there, the less money you're making. The shorter it takes to sit there, the more money you're making. So we all have parking garages. What is our parking garage? Our parking garage is our inventory. We all have finite amount of space. No one has unlimited space. So if you could store 1,000 items, try to sell 3,000 items a year, 4,000 items a year, park 4 cars per year in every single one of those parking spots, and you will make more money. So if you have 1,000 opportunities to sell an item and your sell-through is slow and you sell 500 items a year, that means it's going to take 2 years for your parking lot, your parking garage to clear out and get new customers. Where if you had the same 1,000 parking spots, but you were able to sell 10,000 items, you're going to make way more money with the same exact parking garage. So sell-through is going to be king, even more so than the amount of money that you're making per item. Now, most people who start reselling, you ask them what their goal is, and they always say, I want to make $100,000 profit. That's the goal for most people. And the easiest way to make $100,000 profit per year is sell 14 items a day at a $20 profit 7 days a week. That will give you $102,000 a year profit. Now, that is not a rule, that is not a requirement. That is just the least resistance way to make $100,000 a year. Identify and find 14 items a day that you can sell for a $20 profit. Now, the more you go this way and start getting $15 profit or $10 profit, now you need to sell 28 items a day at a $10 profit to make 100,000. The more you go this way, the less items you need to find, the less items you need to photograph, the less items you need to store, ship, process. And maybe someone somewhere has a business where they sell one item per year and they make $100,000. Now, show us all where that item is and we'll be happy to show up and we'll buy it too. But unfortunately, those aren't readily available by the truckload. So you have to find your sweet spot where you want to be on this scale on either side of this example of a $20 profit. $20 profit, 14 items a day, that will give you $100,000. If you do $15 profit, then you have to do a couple more a day. You have to process a couple more a day. You have to take a couple more photos. You have to do a couple more listings, and that's fine. You can still have a beautiful business with a $15 profit. If you go up to $25 a day, then you don't have to do as much photo. You don't have to do as much processing. You don't have to do as much shipping and put away, and that's fine too. The great thing about eBay is you could build a beautiful business around any kind of life that you want to live. Now, don't get trapped in average sale price. Average sale price means absolutely nothing. If people show you, oh, I have a $70 average sale price, it means nothing. What if they have a $62 average cost of goods? They're making no money. They are negative dollars. I would take someone that had an $8 average sales price and a $0 average cost of goods than for someone who had a $70 average sale price and a $62 average cost of goods. The person with the $8 average sale price is more profitable than someone who sells stuff for 70 and pays 62. So don't get caught up in that fanciness and those large numbers. It means absolutely nothing. Average sale price means nothing. It is a vanity number. What we need to focus on is the spread. And if you do have a $20 profit, I went through it in the original podcast, that allows you to pay this is just an example. It allows you to pay $5, sell an item for 20. It allows you to get $20 back. You could take your original investment back and you have $15 as the profit. You have your original investment. You can take that money and give yourself another opportunity and replace the $20 item that you just sold for your $15 profit. With your $15 profit, we never touched that. That went to the bank. We saved $15. We took our original investment, our original principal, and we went back out and gave ourselves another opportunity to sell another $20 item, take our 15, put it in the bank, get our original back $5 principal, buy another item. Keep playing with the same $5. We never have to invest or put any more money into it because every time we sell an item, we get our original principal back. Take the $5, give ourselves another opportunity. Take your $5, give yourself another opportunity, save 15, save 15. If you want to grow, buy an item for 5, sell it for 20. We get our original principal back, we take our $5, give ourselves another opportunity. From our 15 that goes to the bank, we take 5 off of that, and we've grown our business 100%. We've sold 1 item, replaced it with 2, and we still save $10. Buy an item for 5, sell it for 20, take our original investment, give ourselves another opportunity, take 5 out of the 15, 10 goes to the bank, we give ourselves a second opportunity. This only works if you have the spread between what you buy something for and what you sell it for. It allows you to give yourself another opportunity. It allows for you to grow your business, and it allows for you to grow your bank account. This only works if your items sell through. We have to concentrate on sell-through. Sell-through is very, 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 very important. Sell-through is king. How do we measure sell-through? Very good question for people that are beginning. This is how you can measure sell-through. You look on the eBay machine, we search Ralph Lauren Polo, and as a basic search, it has 650,000 results plus. So realistically, probably close to 1 million results. This is active. We can go over here using left-hand navigation, and we can go down here and click sold items. And out of 650,000, 280,000 have sold. So roughly a third. So this is assessed on a 90-day rolling timeline. So in the last 90 days, 280,000 out of 650 have sold, roughly one third. So this will take 3 90-day cycles to fully sell through. How long is 90 days? 90 days is 3 months. So this is going to take, on average, about 9 months for it to fully sell through. Where if we identify better keywords, better nuances, items that sell through faster, maybe in 30 days, maybe in 60 days, items that are not as saturated or not as competitive, keywords are everything. If we do the same exercise and we put Ralph Lauren Polo Spain shirt, and we identify these items that, have a little bit more nuance and a little bit more desirable, this has 86 results active. And if we go to sold items, has 111 sold. So this has a 125% sell-through in the last 90 days. And what does this say? This says if you list this item with the proper keyword, on average, this will have no problem selling in 60 to 90 days. It's nuance. Nuance is everything. And inside of the group, we have the deep dive document, and it has hundreds and hundreds of brands, and it gives you the nuance, what to look for. Cool, great brand. It gives you all of the labels. Over here, it gives you the best-selling categories: jeans, coats, jackets, and vests, 140% sell-through. Men's pants, 156% sell-through. Men's hats, 41% sell-through. Over here, it gives you BOLOs, stuff exactly what to look for, has notes on each. LL Bean, on the surface level, saturated brand. We want to look for these tags right here. Men's chore jackets, 99% sell-through. Men's wool sweaters, 58% sell-through, maybe not so hot. Men's vintage wool flannels, 94% sell-through. So LL Bean, we're looking for these tags, we're looking for the chore jackets, and we're looking for the vintage wool flannels. That's what we're looking to pick up. It's got some tags, got some BOLOs, got some women's LL Bean BOLOs to look for. Women's flannel shirts, 71% sell-through. Women's hiking pants, 161% sell-through. So these are the things that we have to know. We have to know inside of these the nuances, the Lacoste, the Andy Roddick Lacoste. That stuff sells great. Big with the big crocodile also sells great. The jackets, 56%. Maybe not as good, but also inside of this, and what is very, very important is that every single item has a 100% sell-through at a certain price point. Every single one of them at a certain price point have a 100% sell-through. Now, for some items, that's $1. At $1, if you list an item, it will have a 100% sell-through. For J. Crew, maybe it's $11 it has a 100% sell-through. For CC Filson, maybe it's $65 it has a 100% sell-through. So every single item, depending on price point, has a 100% sell-through. It's up to us to figure out the proper combination of price points and keywords that is going to separate our listing from everybody else's and give us that best chance as possible at 100% sell-through. So I'm going to repeat that again because that is very, very important. And that is something that we work tremendously hard on in the group, is those separators that we have between us and everybody else to give ourselves the best chance, the best opportunity for a 100% sell-through. It's going to be price, because every single item, no matter what it is, this hat has a 100% sell-through at a certain price. We need to learn how to identify that. We need to learn how to give ourselves the best opportunity with the best keywords to give us a 100% sell-through matched up with the best price. So also inside of the group, we have the file section. And this is probably the best amount of resources anywhere on the internet in regards to reselling. This one right here is literally a college course on fashion and style terms for women's garments. All of these also translate to men garments. So even if you don't sell women's, you click this, all of these translate to men's. It has sleeve type, pocket types, collar types, materials, everything, item specifics, legit check for certain brands, different kinds of camouflages. We have a vintage clothing guide, vintage shoe guide, different types of leather, different patterns, different logos, different laundry system symbols, all the item specifics, glossary of terms. We have everything in here. We have every single piece of information anybody could ever need when it does come to reselling. Reselling does take work. It is not a get rich quick scheme, but if you do it right, as Grant Cardone says, you could get rich for sure, but you have to do it correctly. So again, we need to identify our metrics. We could use the eBay fee calculator. We can run through our $20 profits if that's what we choose to do. We can also do the 1 through 100 exercise, which is something I talk about in the group a lot. We take a piece of paper, we start at number 1, we end up at number 100, and you write down your profit every single step of the way. So that way, when you do receive an offer for $22.25, you consult your handy dandy 1 through 100 sheet, and you say, at that kind of price, I make this kind of profit. That meets my metric for sell through and profitability. I'm going to accept this item because I am not in the storage business. A lot of people, they end up in the storage business. We don't want to end up in the storage business. We want to end up in the business where we are multiplying our money. So some of the money all the time is better than all of the money some of the time. That is a philosophy that I've talked about many, many times on this channel inside of the group. Some of the money all the time is better than all of the money some of the time. If you want all of the money some of the time, you will be in the storage business more often than not. If you want some of the money all the time, you will be in the selling business more often than not. And if you double a penny for 30 days, you have $5.3 million. So we want to get this money turning. We want to get it turning. We want to put $5 in, get $20 out, $5 in, get $20 out. And we want to let our money work for us. So sell through is king. Remember the parking lot analogy. We have to study our keywords. How can we find keywords? You join the deep dive document, you get on there, you start learning things, you start learning the nuances, you start learning what people are looking for inside of brands. So the Polo Ralph Lauren Big Pony Spain shirt, that is a nuance. The Nike Prefontaine shirt, that is a nuance. All of these things, certain brands with the buffalo check, certain brands with the tartan plaid, all of these things are nuances that turn not as desirable brands into very, very highly desirable brands. And we have to learn this stuff. You can study the solds, you can study the market, you can watch YouTube videos, you can check Instagram, you can follow other stores, you can follow other resellers. You have to get immersed into this. All of these tips that I'm going to tell you in this entire podcast, all of them, none of them matter unless we put in the work. None of them. None of them matter. So after you do all of this, the deep dive document, the zip code call, you identify all these great stuff. A lot of people say, how do I find my niche? Well, most times your niche finds you, you don't find the niche. So I've sold just about everything. I've sold video games, I've sold car parts, I've sold toys, I've sold consoles, clothes, I've sold inflatable life rafts. I've pretty much sold it all in my eBay career. And the niche finds you generally rather than you finding the niche. If it was my choice, I would love to go to the thrift store and I would love to pick up video games. I would love to be a video game seller because if you list it at the right price, it's gone immediately. It'll sell to Brad, who is the #1 video game seller in the entire world. He's in the group. He sells on Amazon. He'll buy it. If you list it one penny underneath his threshold, he will buy it immediately. I wish I was in that business. However, in my district, I have never seen a video game in a store that I've ever visited in my district because my district takes all the video games and they send it to some sort of consolidation center and they list it online. So unfortunately, my video game career has been cut short. When I used to pick up consoles, when I used to pick up Electronics. I got tired of testing stuff. I got tired of ordering parts and pieces. This one needs a cord. This one needs a remote. This one needs a repair. I got tired of the never ending customer service. I got tired of, always trying to find a bunch of different boxes. I got tired of all of these different things where I eliminated those parts out of my business and I only focused on items where, I don't have to test these anymore. I don't need parts or pieces. A t-shirt doesn't need instructions. And in my area, I can find clothing in abundance. So maybe in your area, you can find video games in abundance. Great, your niche chose you. But in most areas, we all have an advantage of some sort. Dial into your advantage, dial into what you want to do and not what you don't want to do, and then build the business around that. Kind of everyone starts as an everything seller, and start whittling away and develop your business and only focus on things that you actually want to deal with, that you actually want to sell. If you want to sell VCRs, hats off to you. That's the beautiful thing about reselling. That is the beautiful thing about eBay. You could build the business that you want around the life that you want to live. For me, I'm happy with clothing. I like that people don't care about it. I like that it is very abundant. I like that I can acquire the knowledge and education where I know that particular sweater with that particular design is worth $100 and that person threw it on the ground and they only want $1 for it. I like that. So niche, you don't need a niche. It helps if you want to scale to have a niche because you could build your processes around your niche. So if you were going to list a blender, a sombrero, a shirt, a pair of shoes, and a video game, very difficult to build a process around that. You would have to have a photo station that can, professionally display every single one of those. And then you need a storage station that can store it all without damaging it and without losing anything, and it's easy to find. And then you also need a shipping solution where you're able to ship all of these different kinds of items regardless of how big they are. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. You could do that and you can find success with it. But you do run into obstacles or hurdles when it is time to scale. So if everything is built around the items that you list, scaling becomes a lot easier. You could build a photo station that is only for hats. You could build a shipping station that is only for hats. You could build a storage solution that is only for hats. And from there, that business is much easier to scale over blender, microwave, VCR, hat, sombrero, shoe, pants, jacket. A little bit more difficult. However, both of them can still lead you to success at the end of the day. So we know what to sell. We're getting a good fundamental understanding of our numbers. We have our metrics identified. We know what sell-through items we're looking for. We know what profit we're looking for. And just to speak on metrics one more time, because it is super, super important. If an item doesn't fit your metric, you have to leave it at the store for somebody else. That item is not for you. It does not fit your business model. We are only looking for items that meet our metric and nothing else. So we have to be disciplined in that, because the more items you pick up that don't meet your metric, your business starts to move this way instead of moving this way. So it is very, very important. On top of that, probably the most important thing is having a schedule and sticking to it. So the way that it has worked best for me is to wake up, check my messages, ship, source, photos, list, reset to zero. The reason why I check my messages first thing is because sometimes people will message overnight and say, hey, I want to cancel this item, don't ship. Instead of shipping it out and now you have a little bit of a customer service headache, we eliminate that. So check your messages, ship your items. And the reason why I like to ship in the morning is because sometimes eBay goes down. And I never want to be against the clock, rushing, trying to get my items through the post office door 5 minutes before they close. Get your shipping done first. That is a non-negotiable. After that, go sourcing. I like to go early because most resellers are lazy. Maybe they wake up 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, hit the door first, get everything good while everyone's still asleep. Take your photos, do your listings, reset to zero. Every single day, 7 days a week. Reset to zero means everything is cleaned up, everything is put away, ready for you to start work again tomorrow morning. You're not entering a mess. You're not entering a tornado. You're not entering anything that is going to sidetrack or deter you from getting your job done. There will be no distractions once we clean up and reset to zero. So every single part of my process, I reset to zero immediately after I'm finished. When I'm done taking photos, My camera goes in the proper spot. I put my battery on the charger. My ruler goes over here. Everything is cleaned up, so that way when it's time to take photos tomorrow, pick up my camera, get my battery, I'm ready to rock and roll that quickly. I don't have to run around, figure out what's going on, a bunch of distractions trying to deter me. So that's like the big overview of what we have to do every single day. And I believe that is the proper cadence, the proper order. Messages, shipping, sourcing, photos, listing, reset to 0. So now on a smaller level, messages, respond to offers that came in overnight, respond to your return requests, cancellations, check your resolution center, send your invoices, create a coupon, send newsletters, send coupons, do your buyer groups, offers to watchers. That is what we need to do every single day to wake up our store. I'll say it again, and press pause, rewind, do whatever you have to do. Check your messages, check your offers, reconcile your return requests, handle any cancellations that may be there, check your resolution center for item not received cases or credit card chargebacks, send your invoices, create your daily coupon, send your newsletters, send coupons, do your buyer groups, do your offers to watchers. And again, if whoever you're paying attention to and whoever you're learning from cannot recall all of this information like it's second nature, maybe consider paying attention and listening to somebody else. Because there's a lot of people out there that rehash this information, and everything that I'm talking about on this entire podcast will be rehashed, will be repackaged, and somebody will sell this somewhere as their course and their information. So the schedule means nothing if we do not stick to it. You can learn everything, but nobody is going to come help you. Nobody is going to come do the work for you. You have to be very, very disciplined if you are going to do this. You have to be a self-starter if you are going to do this. You have no more boss anymore. You have to eliminate your distractions. You have to establish your working hours, and you have to command respect from the people around you that I have to go to work and I have to get my work done. How do you get respect? You have to show for the amount of effort that you're putting in that you are getting a direct correlation to the result. If you're spending 10 hours a day doing this, but you have a 1 hour a day result, I've listed one item today in 10 hours, it's very difficult for somebody to respect that. If you're spending 10 hours a day doing this, but you have 10 hours of results, and in the beginning, it's not a monetary result, but at least we have something to show for it. Hey, I've set up my whole photo station. I've took this many photos. I've done this many listings. I've sold a couple of items. I've done a bunch of this homework. I've reset to 0. I've done all of the things that I'm supposed to do. That is respect. You can command respect for that. I spent 10 hours and I have no listings. No one is going to respect that. So try to get into a group where you surround yourself with people that are all trending up, that are all better than you, even in the beginning. Play up in your sport. You know, when you're a kid and you excel in sports, they put you in a higher age bracket. Surround yourself with successful people, whether it's friends, family, local. Get into a good group online. There's a lot of Facebook groups out there. Some of them are good, some of them are not good, some of them are great, some of them are toxic. Surround yourself however you have to do it with good people that are all striving to be better, that are leveling up, and it will by default require you to level up. The people that I've seen come in and treat this like a full-time job find full-time success. So if you come and you do this and you are expecting full-time results with half-time effort, very, 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 very difficult for you to do. You have to put full-time effort if you want full-time results. And I have been doing this for 15 years. There is not many, if any, people when I first started doing this that are still here. Most of them have washed out. Most of them have gone out of business. Most of them have gone out to get a real job again. If you treat this as a real job and put full-time effort, you will get a full-time result. You have to trust in that process that eBay will always reward you for the amount of effort that you put in. If you put in a part-time effort, shame on you if you expect a full-time result. That is not how this works. So Once we've got all this figured out, we need to get a route set up. And to get a route set up, I like to show up early. I like to show up often. I like to have the most amount of knowledge, and I like to have the most amount of opportunities. Um, I like to be the first one in the door at the thrift store. I like to be the first one to step foot at the flea market. I like to be the first one to step foot on a garage sale. If you are the first one, you get everything. Nobody else gets anything. Of course, they do refresh, the racks and things like that. If you are the first one there, everyone else gets the scraps, especially if you know how to clean out a store. So I would show up early. I would show up often. I would show up with the most amount of knowledge. On the half off days, I go the day before, because if there's $6 and it's half off and now it's 3 and that's going to entice you to buy it, it was probably still profitable at 6 anyways. We're just being cheap. I go the day before half off days, because what happens on half off day? There's a huge line. It's a madhouse. You got to run through the racks, and by the time you're done with the racks, you got to wait in line for 45 minutes. We don't have time for that. We can hit another store or two in 45 minutes. Go the day before, clean it out. Everyone that comes there, they got your scraps, and they're standing in line for 45 minutes. And why they blew a whole day sourcing in a store that doesn't have anything left, because they don't put anything on the racks the day before the half off day, because then it would immediately become half off. Go the day before, get everything. All those bozos who are waiting in line fighting and standing in the cash out line for 45 minutes, you're already going to every other store on the route while they are sitting there. There's nobody in any of these stores on half off day. Go to a different one, get everything, and by the time they go there tomorrow, everything is gone. Show up often, and even if you don't find anything, show up again. On the videos, you guys see me. I go to the flea market, an unknown flea market where I have no advantages. I show up one day, don't really find anything. Show up to the same place again the next day, hit a home run and find a bunch of stuff. I know it can be done. I've done it around my house for 15 years, and now I'm doing it in every single city that I've been to around Florida, Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers, Orlando, you name it. I've never been there, but because I show up early, I show up often, I show up with knowledge, money shows up in my bank account, and I show up with a carload full of stuff. So once you've got all of your items, we know what we are looking for. We have our thrift route established. Now we have to prep our items when we come home. Again, take everything, put it in the washing machine. And that way, as soon as you're done washing, when it gets to the photo station, that is the best it is ever going to be. If it does have a flaw, photograph the flaw, identify the flaw, list it accurately, put it on eBay, put it into your storage, sell it, ship it. If you are dealing with electronics, same thing. Get your prep done, order your parts and pieces, do all of that kind of stuff first. And that way, when the item gets to your photo station, that is the best it is ever going to be. That one tip has saved me so much time in my reselling career. So now that we're on the photo station, in my opinion, and this is like talking about politics, cameras and printers are like talking about politics. In my opinion, I believe a digital camera is the best way to go. For one, my digital camera never breaks, shows up on time every single day. It has no distractions like a phone. Your phone, text message, Google, YouTube, whatever you want to call, notifications, pops up, pops up, pops up. Your phone does not send, or your camera does not send text messages. Your camera does not make phone calls. Your camera does not go on YouTube. You eliminate the distractions. The phone, the pictures have to magically fly through the air, appear on your computer, out of order, not rotated correctly. If there's a software update, you got to spend a whole day trying to figure it out. I like a digital camera. You pop out the memory card, you put the memory card in your computer, upload straight from the memory card. The pictures have 0 time downloading, 0 time floating through the air. They always show up in order. They're going to be in the correct orientation. They don't even touch your computer. But in any event, whether you're going to use a camera or a phone, it's not going to distinguish whether or not you move into a mansion tomorrow. As long as we are taking clear, crisp, accurate photos, however you want to do it, bless your heart. If you want to do it the best, most undefeated way, use a digital camera, in my opinion. Use a gray background. And for the people that have been around for a long time, you guys clowned me for 10 years of my gray background, absolute clowned me. And now look on eBay, there's 10,000 plus people that copy my exact store, my exact background, my exact photo setup. The gray background acts as a gray card. And if you don't know what a gray card is, that's what a professional photographer uses to color correct, color coordinate their camera to calibrate it for what they're going to take photos of. A gray background acts as a gray card. It's going to make every single color stick out more true. It eliminates the editing of photos. It eliminates the cropping, the lightening, the brighting, all of that, it eliminates it. So I would use a digital camera. I would use a gray background. But all in all, the moral of the story is you want clear, accurate, color accurate, and you want to be honest and identify all the flaws. Otherwise, you're going to run into some issues. After you photographed everything, you want to create a perfect listing in each one of your categories. And you want to sell similar off your own perfect listing. Don't sell similar off of somebody else's stores. You're going to bring all of their bad habits and all of their business policies and everything that is in their listing. You are going to bring that to your store. Have you done your business policies and you have 10,000 different business policies? That's because you're selling similar from a bunch of people. Make one perfect listing in each category. Sell similar off of your own perfect listing. Inside of the group, I have videos and walkthroughs on how to make a perfect listing, how to make your own perfect listing and sell similar in 30 seconds. You can create an eBay listing in 30 seconds. I show it in the group time after time after time, but it starts with creating your own perfect listing. So how do you create your own perfect listing? You need to make sure that your title structure is correct. Title structure is key. Title structure is key. If you are doing a title structure that says vintage, Metallica, black, orange, system, lightening up your behind, size medium, single stitch, that don't work. No customer in the history of time has ever typed in vintage, Metallica, lightening up your behind, black, orange, single stitch, men's L. No one in the history of time has ever typed that in the eBay search bar. That is a bad title. And it just gets proven time and time and time again how important title structure is, because people come into the group, they watch the title structure call, they fix their titles, and without a doubt, they always post, hey, I fixed this item, it sold today. I fixed my titles, my sales are up a tremendous amount. The most extreme example and the most extreme validation that I've ever seen that title structure works, somebody posted that they had an item for 5 years. They've delisted, relisted that item for 5 years. Hundreds of times have delisted and relisted, delisted and relisted, delisted and relisted for 5 years. They changed the title, the item sold the next day. Delist, relist for 5 years, change the title, sold next day. So delist, relist, if that's the secret sauce, that don't work. That's the equivalent of taking an item off the shelf, making no improvements and putting it back on the shelf and expecting someone to purchase the item. Why would they do that? Take an item off the shelf, make no improvement, put it back on the shelf, and a customer is going to come buy it. No, you need to fix your title structure. You need to make sure that your keywords are up to date. If you've created these old listings, hopefully, you are a better reseller today than you were when you created those old crappy listings, and you can come in and put better keywords on it and make those items sell. Title structure is key. Keywords are key. You need to make sure that your title matches your photos match your item specifics match your description. Everything needs to be correct. Your item specifics need to be correct. Your description needs to be correct. It cannot be long, drawn out with a bunch of legalese. If you do this, then I'm going to do that. If you do that, then I'm going to do this. Nobody wants to read that. It needs to be mobile friendly so that way people can shop on their phone. The last data that I got from eBay was probably about 7 years ago, and 70% of my shoppers were on mobile 7 years ago. So of course that number has always gone up. And consistent listing, for whatever reason, that's what eBay wants. So eBay wants you to be listing your items consistently. So it does make sense to me. They want people that are on the platform. If someone sends you an offer and you take a long time to respond to the offer, where if someone sends me an offer, I respond instantly, eBay would funnel me more traffic because they know I'm awake, they know I'm home, they know I'm open for business. There's nothing worse than a customer to send a best offer and it expires, or someone is very late returning a counter offer or accepting it. If you send me an offer, I'm going to accept immediately. That is a good customer experience. If you send me a message, I'm going to respond immediately. That is a good customer experience. For eBay to give traffic or funnel traffic to people that are not inside of their eBay account, to people that have not logged in for weeks, for people that take a long time to respond to messages or respond to offers, that makes no logical sense to me. If you're in there working, if you're in there logged in, you're in there moving, popping, shaking, you're in there responding to messages, responding to offers, eBay will funnel you as much traffic as humanly possible for the amount of items that you have available at the time. So for your listings, we want to create a perfect listing in each category, sell similar off of that. And I do have videos in the group on exactly how to do this. Those videos alone can transform your business and really cut down the amount of time it takes for you to list items. You want to make sure your title structure is key. All the keywords are there perfectly. You need to have your item specifics filled out perfectly. A good cadence with your photos that accurately illustrate your item and show exactly what the customer needs to make an informed buying decision after they do their due diligence on your item. So for the listing every single day, eBay wants us to be consistent. Why? I don't know, but that's just what they want us to do. So that means listing every single day. Inside of the group, we've developed the method of utilizing the draft bank. And the way that the draft bank works is the draft bank can afford you time off. The draft bank can afford you a schedule that has time off. A draft bank can afford you still being consistent with your daily listings, even when stuff goes wrong and it hits the fan. So if you are highly consistent and you never ever miss a listing day, you do not need a draft bank. If you are not consistent, then you need a very large draft bank. So probably my favorite way of utilizing the draft bank is doing 7 days worth of work in 5 days. That kind of takes a little bit of the grind away of eBay, because eBay can be a grind. That takes a little bit of the grind away from doing the eBay machine every single day. So if you list 10 items a day, that's 70 items per week. That would be 10 items Monday through Sunday. If you do 14 items a day, Monday through Friday, it still gives you 10 items a day launching, but on Saturday and Sunday, it affords you the luxury to go in there, just click submit 10 times, and your eBay listing day is done in the matter of 2 minutes. So you're still getting your listings up, you're still getting consistent. You are just utilizing the draft bank to afford you some PTO, some paid time off, some holiday time, some weekends off. So if you want to list 10 a day, 7 days a week, that's 70 a week. You do 14 a day, Monday through Friday, and you launch your draft Saturday and Sunday. And that is probably one of the best ways to utilize the draft bank. And like I said, if you are inconsistent, you probably need a larger draft bank. And for those folks that are listening to this, because this is released the first week of January, and you fell off during Thanksgiving, you fell off during the holidays, shame on you. You knew they were coming, just like your birthday. You know when your birthday is coming. You know it. Shame on you for not utilizing the draft bank. If you would utilize the draft bank, it would have got you through the holidays. You wouldn't have missed a beat. Your business would thank you. Your business will reward you, and you would have got your listings up. You would have been rewarded for your consistency. Your traffic wouldn't have dipped. And we have examples of that in the group. We have examples of people that did not list for 2 months, no traffic. They start listing consistently. The traffic comes up and the sales come right back. So it is proven, it is factual to list every single day. That is what eBay wants. And delist, relist doesn't work. We have plenty of instances, plenty of documentation of people's traffic tabs where the delist, relist method sees an 80% reduction in traffic and impressions. eBay is not stupid. They are a multi-billion-dollar company, a multi-billion-dollar operation. They are not dumb. They know the photos are being reused. They know the title is the same. They know the description are the same. They know it's the same exact listing, ended and put back up. It indexes right where it was going to be. You're not tricking them. If that was the secret sauce, we would all be bajillionaires, but it doesn't work. So consistency works. Listing good items with a good margin, with a good sell-through, all of that works. We need to get your shipping set up, your shipping time set up. I am a big believer of a 1-day handling time or better. You can also do a same day cutoff. You go into your site preferences, your shipping preferences, and you could do a 1 day handling time cutoff. So for me, my handling time cutoff is 6 a.m. because I get over to the warehouse at 6. So anything that was paid for up until 6, I'm going to ship anyways. So I have a 1 day handling time. That 1 day handling time leapfrogs me ahead of everybody else who has a 1 day handling time. The 1 day handling time leapfrogs everyone who has a 2 day and a 3 day and a 4 day. So the best customer experience that we can offer, we kind of get ahead of everybody else. So if we have 1 day handling time, we're top rated plus, we have the most keywords, we have great photos, all of that adds up and all of that makes sure that we appear on the very top of search because no one's going to page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And everything we teach in the group is how to appear on the top half of that first page of the search. And we all know customers want their items quickly. And if you can offer 1 day handling time and free returns, then you will be assessed on a top rated plus basis, which is the highest level of seller, I guess, appreciation or seller level achievement, which is top rated plus. And top rated plus, they will give you a 10% discount on final value fees. They will give you increased search placement. You will have some feedback protection, and you will also have the ability to withhold up to 50% for buyers that do misuse returns. So the free returns, a lot of people are scared of that. I do 60-day free returns. Nobody has ever returned an item on day 42. It just doesn't happen. People return items immediately as soon as they arrive. I've been doing free returns for well over 10 years. I did it way before there was any sort of prompting or any sort of incentives to do free returns. I think it's the best customer experience. And I never want to make a customer angry or upset, get a negative feedback over $6 on a return label. So I have no problem giving free returns. Again, free returns is going to give you a better search placement, sell more items. It will give you a 10% discount on final value fees, AKA that savings can help offset the cost of any return labels that you have to generate. It will give you the feedback protection, which is also very helpful. And if someone does misuse returns, you can give a 50% reduction in their refund amount if they return something or misuse any sort of their return process. So storage, you want to set up your storage situation that fits your need. The largest item that you have to build your storage system around that. You have to be able to store your largest item. If you sell everything, your storage system will not be perfect. Your photo system will not be perfect. Your shipping system will not be perfect. If you sell everything, it's very hard to build a machine around everything. That doesn't work. But if you sell, for instance, clothes, you could build a storage setup around clothes. You could build a storage setup around video games. You could build that around cassettes or CDs or jewelry. You can build the situation around that. I would recommend it being in a sequential storage system. So item number 1, item number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that way, if something does go wrong, you can find where the item is based on the date that it was listed. If you use a SKU, a lot of people use SKU, and then they use, empty places inside of their storage system. So SKU 1161 now goes in box C1. SKU 1162 now goes in box B2. SKU 1163 goes in D4. What do you do if it's not in C3, where it's supposed to be? Are you looking in all of C? Are you looking in all of 3? Or are you looking in everything? So the reusing the slots is very dangerous because there's no kind of like secondary place. There's no redundancy for if something goes wrong. Where if you're using date-based, the date is always the date. The date will never change. Today's date will always be today's date. That will never change. You can go back in your system and you can see the day it was listed, find an item that was listed that day, you can find your item right there. So I believe in a sequential system. And by doing that, I don't lose items by making sure that it's on a date-based inventory system. So after we get all of this stuff done, we got our photo, listing, shipping, storage. Now we need to learn about stuff that's on the back end. They have the listing quality report. It's on the traffic tab. You can download it. It gives you a big spreadsheet of, your funnels, your impressions, your traffic, your conversion rate. We need to learn all of that stuff. We need to learn what that stuff means. Inside the group, we have the beginner call. Robert and Isaiah, they've gone through that stuff and hammered it home very, very slowly, answered a bunch of questions, and they talk about that stuff all the time, and it's great to freshen up on it. I have a call where I explain it and I walk through and tell you everything that you need to know about impressions, click-through, conversion, all of that stuff. So in the listing quality report, you will see a graph that has, number of photos, number of keywords, number of do you accept offers? What is your return policy? What is your handling time? What is your actual handling time? I would recommend to meet or exceed the top 10% in every single one of those metrics on the listing quality report. Because there's a lot of people on eBay that take 18 days to ship items. They are not our competition. That's not who we are talking about. That's not who we should consider ourselves against. So inside the listing quality report, again, on the traffic tab, download it. It will show you exactly where you are in the world. It will show you your rank in your categories. If you're number 613 in jeans, excellent. Try to get to 612. Try to get to 611 by doing all the things that we're talking about on this episode of the podcast. But try to meet or exceed the top 10% on every single one of those metrics that eBay is measuring you on. So speaking of the sales tab and the traffic tab, we need to learn the sales tab and the traffic tab. We need to learn, what is a conversion rate? How do I increase my conversion? What is a impression? What is a page view? How do I increase my traffic? How do I increase my impressions? How do I increase my page views? Why did my conversion rate go down? Why did my conversion rate go up? We need to learn all of this stuff. We need to immerse ourselves in this. We need to figure out, different kinds of markdown strategies, different kind of ways how to get our items sold. How can we get our items sold? How can we sell items that are sitting? How can we get that sold? We need a different way of doing this. We need to develop some sort of markdown strategy. Is it based on age? Is it an aged inventory markdown strategy? Are items that we've had for X days now X percentage off? So if I've had my items for 60 days, now they're 10% off. 90 days, now they're 20% off. 120 days, 30% off. Do we need to lower the price? Do we need to rework the title, rework the keywords? Do we need to run an auction starting at a price where if it receives one bid, we are happy? Do we run that auction a couple of times and it gets no action? So now we run an auction for cheap just to try to get rid of it. Do we take it off of eBay and run a garage sale? Do we take it off of eBay and run a flea market? Do we sell it to another bozo reseller who that fits their business model because it certainly doesn't fit our business model anymore? Do we donate it back to Goodwill? Do we set it on fire? What are we doing with our stuff that does not sell? We need a strategy. We need a method on how to get rid of these items that we cannot get sold. So again, develop some sort of markdown strategy. Develop an aged inventory markdown strategy. X number of days, X percentage down. Do we need to lower the price? Do we need to rework the titles, rework the keywords? Should we start instituting auctions? Should we run auctions for cheap? Should we take it off of eBay? Should we sell it locally? Do we need to start instituting some tools? Do we need to do a sales and markdown event? Do we need to start doing coupons? Do we need to run some newsletters? Do we need to do buyer groups? Do we need to accept lower offers? Do we need to institute promoted listing standard where it's based on a percent? I'm going to give eBay an extra percentage of my total price in order for them to show my items more often. Do we need to do a pay-per-click promoted listings campaign? Do we need to run offsite ads? All of this stuff, now we're getting into a little bit high level, but all of this stuff we need to learn. We need to get it figured out. If you go to the promotions tab, they have a markdown sales event. You can run a 33% off sale. You could do a multi-order discount. You could do a coupon, today only 20% off. You can go into your newsletters and you can send out newsletters to everyone that follows your store. How do I get people to follow your store? Are you prompting people to follow your store? Are you giving them instructions on how to follow your store? This is all stuff that we talk about every single day in the group. Are we setting up our buyer groups? Do we know how often buyer groups can be sent? Every 14 days, eBay is going to shuffle through your buyer groups because they don't want people to get bombarded with a bunch of messages and offers. So every 14 days, you have new buyer groups. Promoted listings standard. Go back and watch the podcast that I did probably 4 weeks ago. It has a thumbnail with red writing that says the problem with promoted listings. If you don't know anything about promoted listings, after this podcast, watch that one. Do we need to do promoted listings pay-per-click? For most people that are thrifting and going to garage sales and flea markets, it's my belief that that doesn't apply to us as much as someone that may be selling some sort of widget. Do we need to do off-site ads? We've run a bunch of tests in the group, a bunch of tests. No other group has this. We have run a bunch of tests in the group that shows for us promoted listings do X. Does it work or does it not work? We have the data on it. We've been running it. We were the first ones to find it. We were the first ones to find the coupon. We are in there. We are immersed. We are learning the platform. We are becoming experts at the platform. We are becoming experts in what we sell. So after you do all of that, you know, you have your markdown strategy, you know how to use all the tools. You know, now there's, you sell items, now you have issues with the customer, you get a negative feedback. How do you address negative feedback? Before, eBay was very lenient on the feedback. You call them up, you state your case, they would remove it. If you had free return, you call them up, you tell them you have free returns, they will remove it. In the last 6 months or so, they've kind of turned a new page and they're a little bit more difficult to remove it. However, there still are ways. You can contact the customer, try to work it out, try to have them open up a return request. If they open up a return, once the item arrives back, you issue that refund, the case closes, the feedback will fall off. They open up a return, they never return the item, the case closes, the feedback falls off. If it doesn't fall off after the case closes, call eBay, let them know, they'll take it off. Message the customer, try to get them to open up a return request. If there's no response, call eBay, say, hey, I've tried to work it out, there's no response. Here's how I accurately described it. Here's why this feedback is justified to be taken off. What can you do to help me? If they can't help you or you can't contact them, you can contact eBay for Business on Facebook, state your case, ask for them to remove the feedback for you. If they can't help, try to call eBay again. If eBay won't help you, eBay for Business on Facebook won't help you, the customer won't respond back, go to your seller help page. They have an automated service now where you can remove the feedback. You state your case, you let them know why the feedback should be removed. And eBay, if you do the right thing, they will always have your back. Now, what is the right thing? We need to learn about our seller protections. You can go right over here to Google and you can type in on Google eBay seller protections. And it's one of my favorite pages to read. And I think that every single person on eBay that is selling on eBay should read the eBay seller protections. You read this front to back so you know what you are protected against, what you are not protected against, what you need to do. And every single time there's a blue link, you click that and you read about service metrics. You click about how to report a buyer. You click about refunding a buyer. You click about the abusive buyer policy. Click on all this stuff, read every single one of these items line by line, because if you want to play this game, you have to learn the rules. And if you don't want to learn the rules, you're going to lose the game. So we need to know for our account health, what to do with feedback, what to do with our seller protections, how are buyers protected. We need to have our account protected based on our seller metrics. Our seller metrics are assessed based on the number of items that were sold. If you sell 400 items or more, you are assessed every 90 days. If you sell 400 items or less, you are assessed on a 12-month period. So I would recommend, highly recommend, that everybody try to get into that 90-day, 3-month assessment, because it's very much more forgiving. Stuff rolls off every 90 days and you're forgiven. You need to make sure that you're up and up on the transaction defect rate. Any sort of cancellations for out of stock, if you can't find it, if you're cross-posting and it's sold somewhere else and now you sell it on eBay, that is a very, very dangerous defect. Baiting a customer into cancellations, eBay is smart on that. They're going to give you a defect if they find out that you're doing that to people. We've seen it. Cases closed without seller resolution, returns not responded to fast enough. You need to keep up with your late shipment rate, your tracking uploaded on time and validated. This is a lot of stuff. eBay has a lot involved with it. And if you're going to do it, you have to be on the up and up, and you have to make sure that you're doing it correctly. So you need to learn your metrics. They have below standard, above standard, top rated plus. Below standard means that you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Above standard means that you're doing okay. Top rated means you're exceeding. Top rated plus is the best of the best. So your transaction defect rate, Are you responding to cases in a timely manner? Is the customer having to get eBay involved to make a decision? If they do, that is a case closed without seller resolution. Are you canceling items because you can't find them or they're broken? You do the drop down and you put cancel out of stock. That is a defect. You only get a couple of those defects before they hit you with that below standard. And if you're below standard, you get the least amount of traffic. Above standard, a little more. Top rated, you get more. Top rated plus, you get the most traffic. So why would eBay give you a bunch of traffic for you to sell your items? When you do sell an item, it's out of stock or broken and you have to cancel it. Of course, that would be foolish for them to give you all the traffic. They want to give the traffic to people that have their items in stock, that are going to ship it fast, that it's accurately described, it's going to result in a positive feedback, and there's no case or return open for it. That's what eBay wants to give the traffic to. If you sell an item and you can't find it, or you sell an item and it takes you 3 days to find it, it arrives late, the customer is mad that it's broken, it's not as described, and now they have to send it back, they're not going to give you a bunch of traffic. So we need to learn all of this. We need to learn our transaction defect rate, our cancellations, our out of stock, our baiting buyers into canceling. We can't do that. Cases closed without seller resolution, our late shipment. We have to make sure that we're getting our items out in the handling time that we have specified. If you have a 3-day handling time, you have to get these items out in 3 days. We have to make sure that we're printing out labels and the post office is scanning them within the time frame required. If you have 3-day handling time, we need a scan by a human being. The kiosks don't work. Kiosks don't work. If you're led to believe that, that's a different scan. That is a received scan. eBay is looking for an acceptance scan. So we need to get it scanned on time. We need to get it shipped on time. And we need to have a successful transaction. That's all the metrics that they're looking for. And then there's different kinds of cases and returns. I'm running you through the entire gamut of how to run a successful eBay business. There's different kinds of returns and cases. They have a item not received case. You need to know how you're covered and what you're not covered for. If somebody opens up an item not received case, if you can upload a tracking number that confirms that it was delivered, upload the tracking number, nothing to worry about. Go on about your day, live a beautiful life. If they open up an item not received case and you do not have a bona fide tracking number that shows delivered, call your shipping service, whether it's the post office, FedEx, call them up, open up a missing mail claim. And if there is no tracking or any sort of upload or any sort of movement within the last 10 days, eBay will consider that item lost. eBay will expect you to give a refund to the buyer. But there's great news. If you shipped it priority or ground advantage, you are covered up to $100 through the insurance. File a claim with the post office, get your money back. That's an item not received case in a nutshell. Upload a bona fide tracking number, show it has been delivered. Nothing to worry about. If you cannot show it has been delivered, get on the horn, open up a case. If they can't find it, issue a refund, go through the insurance, get your money back from the shipping service. They have 2 different kinds of returns. One is item not as described, one is buyer's remorse. Item not as described is a defect. Item not as described is item not as described, arrived damaged, missing parts or pieces, not as pictured, doesn't work. Those are item not as described reasons. They also have buyer's remorse. Buyer's remorse is doesn't fit, wrong size, found a better price, changed mind, no longer need. Those are buyer's remorse. No harm, no foul. So eBay does keep track of your item not as described metrics, and if they are assessed against your peers at a level that's too high, eBay can reduce your visibility, and eBay can also assess you a penalty of an additional final value fee. So we do want to make sure that we are accurately describing our items, that they are being accurately packed, and that they are showing up to the customer in the manner in which they were listed in, and that there's no surprises. So we do want to make sure that we know the 2 differences between the kinds of returns that can be open. Item not described, those are not good. Buyer's remorse, no harm, no foul. So if someone does open up an item not described case, you do have to issue the original shipping cost. You do have to issue a return label, and you will have to issue a 100% full refund for the original shipping and the item cost. That is for an item not described case. If it is a buyer's remorse case, you only have to issue a refund for the cost of the item. You do not have to issue a refund for the original shipping. If you do free shipping, you have to issue a refund for the free shipping. You cannot penalize the buyer and withhold original shipping on a free shipping item. So that is the item not as described cases. That is the item not received cases. That is buyer's remorse cases. And then they have inside of your resolution center, they have your credit card chargebacks. And your credit card chargebacks, there's two different ones. One is a didn't recognize the transaction, where all you have to do is upload a tracking number, show it's been delivered. eBay will cover you. No harm, no foul. If you do not have a tracking number that shows confirmed delivery, issue a refund. And they also have item not as described credit card chargebacks, where those ones are a little more tricky to win. eBay does now allow you to upload photo. They do allow you to upload a brief description, upload your statement, upload your proof. Those usually take about 45 days to process. If you do lose any credit card chargeback, you will be assessed a $20 penalty on the credit card processing behalf because you did lose that case. So you have item not received, you have returns, item not as described, buyer's remorse, and you also have credit card chargebacks. We got to be on top of all of this stuff. And of course, inside of the group, we talk about all of that to no end. So that was a lot, freestyled off the dome. Live, eat, breathe eBay. You don't have to do it to the extent that I did. However, the extent that I did lead me down a beautiful path in life that, I'll be 40 years old in January and I'm kind of set. All thank you to reselling. So it does take hard work. It does take commitment. It does take discipline. But, I have no formal college education. I had a kid at 18 years old. I raised a son off of reselling. I was a single parent. I did it. No one was there to help me. No one was there to answer a question. No one was there to, give me a handout or a leg up. But every single day in the group, I try to share my expertise with everybody with a quality answer, top-notch effort. Never shortcut anybody. If you take a shortcut, you get cut short. That is very important. High morals, always doing the right thing. The right thing is always the right thing. And I just want to be able to share this gift that eBay is and to share this gift of what reselling is. And I believe that, you could build any kind of business. There's a lot of people in the group that do, part-time income to supplement their full-time job. There's a lot of people that do hobby. There are people that have quit their jobs. There are people that have retired and now resell, that have retired their spouses. There are people that have built $100,000 businesses, $100,000 profit businesses. There's people doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 800,000. There's also people doing $1 million and a couple $1 million. And a lot of those people started out with me in 2019 and have built beautiful businesses. And today, in fact, I got a message from someone that started in 2019 with me and they did $35,000 that year. And this year they did $660,000 in 2019 till now. So in 3 or 4 years. So anything is possible. It's not get rich quick. It is work. Anyone who, insinuates that this is not work and this is get rich quick and this is easy would be incorrect. Takes effort, takes discipline, takes time. And your first year is going to be a grind. Your second year will be a grind. Third, fourth, fifth, you start making some real money and things become a little more easier. But, in the group, we talk about all of this. We eliminate a lot of the trial, the error, eliminate a lot of the mistakes. And, if you could just start doing it the correct way, like the way that I outlined it right here, you will shave 5+ years off of your eBay business and just be miles ahead of everybody else. So I've done enough rambling this time. I know this one probably went a little bit long and I apologize for that, but I am very passionate about reselling and all the gifts that it does offer us. So without further ado, I appreciate everybody. I hope everyone has a great year. They smashed 2024. And I just hope that everyone builds a business that they like and builds the business around the life that they want to live. So go out and go get it. Until next time, be great. Thank you.